What's happening, my friends? It's the Cassius Morris Show. Thank you for tuning in for episode number 178. We have a tremendous guest on the podcast today. Really happy to have him back on. None other than the one and only Freddy Correa, a wonderful comedian from Las Vegas, Nevada. He lives in Las Vegas, Nevada currently. And for anybody who missed it, I actually got to meet up with Freddy and his wife, Lizzie. Shout out to the Correas over in Las Vegas, and we did a swap cast, which is essentially both of our podcasts combining for a collaboration, and it was so much fun just to get to meet him. So basically this podcast is a follow-up and sort of talking about what it's been like for the both of us since we last linked up in November back in Vegas, because that was before all this crazy virus stuff went on and all that. We don't spend the podcast harping on the virus because that's no fun. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to listen to that. But, we just talk about all types of stuff, including some of the behind-the-scenes things that happened on my Vegas trip. I didn't talk about all of the details about what went down when I went there. I did meet up on sort of a blind date with a girl out there. So I did tell Freddie about that. I usually don't talk too personal on the show, but I figured I'd open up a little bit. So crack a cold beer, grab yourself a little something to smoke, and enjoy this programming. Ladies and gentlemen, Freddy Correa on the Cassius Morris Show. Freddy Correa, my man, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you taking the time. It's good to connect with you again. You've been going hard, man. I've been seeing you posting tons of podcasts on Thanks for the Invite.
Yeah, it's using a new software for it, so it makes it super easy. Do it on the fly, man. Dude, editing. Anybody that podcasts, unless you like editing, will tell you that the worst part about podcasting is the back end, editing, compressing, and then uploading. And I don't mean editing by cutting. I don't edit. I always put it raw. But putting, let's say, your intro and then the middle part and then the music, that's what I mean by editing. But it's all easy now. You could do that shit on your phone with an app. So
that's true. Yeah. And I think doing it on something like Zoom, I mean, I'm here doing the live cutaways right now. So that takes down my post-production time by an hour and a half, 2 hours at least. So there's definitely ways to do it. And I see you with the live stuff. Before we get into this, I want to get everybody who's listening, because we're doing this at a reasonable hour here. We're going to have a drink all together if you're drinking. My man, Freddie, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking Irish whiskey. I was too cheap to go with Jameson, so I went with Costco. And
hey,
bro,
man, it's probably
tastes
better.
It tastes just as good, or if not better.
Absolutely.
If you get the vodka from Costco, it tastes even better than Grey Goose. So, I hear it's made in the same distillery. And then I'm drinking myself. I thought I got mango. I got lemon White Claw.
White Claw.
Yeah, I'm drinking Lizzie's drinks because I'm out of beer. But pretty soon she'll get home, and I asked her if she could pick up a 12-pack or something. She's getting some dinner for us. So
dinner and drinks, man. You're balling.
Yeah, I'm spoiled tonight, bro. It's Friday. It's been a long week.
Absolutely, you deserve it, man. Well, I'm gonna toast you with a little bit of Jack Daniels. I went to the liquor store and picked up a little bottle of Jack just to commemorate this.
All right.
Yeah, man. So let's see if I can just down it straight out of this, because I don't have a shot glass. So I'm gonna try to do it like the
it's
Ozzy
hard
Osbourne way.
Oh yeah.
It is hard from a little bottle. You've tried it.
It is hard. Oh yeah.
That's the one thing I love about Vegas. Every time we went to buy 2 beers, because it was me and my dad, they'd be like, with 2 beers, you get a free shot. Now we were like, fuck, we're so drunk already. We're like, please just keep it. We'll pay you to keep it.
Yeah. That's true. They get you one shot. Yeah, that is true. You get 2 tall cans, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. I fucking love that. But we're going to get into that. So first I'm going to toast you. Cheers, my friend. Cheers to everybody around the world.
Cheers.
Woo. Little margarita mix, little chase.
Nice.
Never hurt nobody.
How's your dad doing, man?
My dad's doing good, man. He's still working. He's considered an essential enforcement worker, so he's out there doing his thing.
Absolutely.
And here there was a weird thing, because we don't have a huge homeless population here. So, and I know you guys don't really in Vegas either, actually, but definitely compared to any U.S. city, we don't. So When the crazy lockdown stuff happened, they had an expo center, which is usually used for big conventions like Comic Con type stuff. And they said all the homeless people could stay there, but
Hmm.
they weren't searching anybody. They weren't testing anybody to see if they had the virus. They were letting them do drugs on site. And it basically became a fucking cesspool. So my dad was working in there for a while. So it was a little nerve wracking, man, but definitely glad that that part's over and that things are starting to gradually open up, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Little by little, huh?
Are they opening up over there? What's it like in Vegas right now?
Yeah, it's opening up little by little. Actually, today, at lunch with a coworker, I went to a Thai restaurant
Hmm.
and ate inside of a restaurant for the first time since March.
Wow. That must have been satisfying as hell.
Yeah, yeah, very satisfying, especially with the whole CDC news coming out that shit's not even on surfaces this whole time we're over here. But here's the thing: they keep changing it, right? It keeps fucking
Yeah.
changing. But at least peace of mind in my head. Maybe it's just placebo or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the correct word, but I was like, I'm gonna lick the fucking counter. You know, like I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
it. Who gives a fuck?
I feel so free now to do what I fucking want.
Yeah. At first, I'm thinking, like, what a restaurant's gonna do. No one's gonna want to eat from a silverware that's been in someone else's mouth. You know, no. I was thinking they were gonna use disposables, but dude, it was fucking great. I felt like I was in Disneyland. Uh,
Yeah, just in a restaurant. I love that.
just in a restaurant eating some curry, you know?
Curryland.
Yeah. And what they did is they separate, me and my coworker, we sat in a booth, and then the next booth is not usable. And then the next booth
Mm,
is, and they just put menus. And so they can't have full capacity yet, but it just feels good, dude. It feels like we're coming out of a war, you know, like
yeah.
some giant World War III or World War II, whatever. And people like, things are somehow coming back to normal. But I know we still have a long way, but it was like a glimpse. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Um,
No, I think that's totally cool. My thing with the restaurants is this, like, first of all, I was never okay with using silverware that was in somebody else's mouth. And
yeah.
if it's never crossed your mind once, I think there's an issue. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, man.
It's crazy. Like, it's especially having worked in restaurants, like when you start
Yeah.
to see that shit, like I don't know if you've ever worked in restaurants, but that shit,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, that shit. I used to be my first job was a busboy, and I
Okay.
used to pick up all the nasty silverware and throw it in we used to call it a bus tub. Throw it in a dirty bus tub with dirty liquids of everybody's juices and food, and then they throw it into another container that has little holes in it, and they just get sprayed down with soap and water. And how many times have you had a customer say, "There's shit on my silverware. Can I get a new?" Because it doesn't really clean it that good,
No,
and
no.
it's been in people's mouths, dude. It would just spray down.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was a kid, I grew up, I can't say too poor because my mom was a hard worker, but it was a single mom. But I did use secondhand clothes from time to time,
Hmm.
and kids used to make fun of that shit. But it did cross my mind. I'm like, people that refuse to use secondhand clothes or secondhand furniture, but yet they'll go to a fancy restaurant and use a silverware that's been into someone's
Mm.
mouth. Who knows how many cocks they've had in their mouth? But you,
How many open sores are on their fucking lip?
but you'll put that shit in your mouth. You know, it's just so stupid.
Seriously, man, that's the thing. Like, it's so crazy. So, like, that's the one thing, and then the second thing is when I'm at a restaurant, the one thing that pisses me off is people fucking being too close and looking at me, man. Like,
Yeah,
it's annoying when I'm around too many people. So I'm like, wait a second, you're telling me I'm gonna go to a restaurant, it's gonna be extra clean, and you can keep people away from me? I'm like, I'm in fucking heaven right now. I mean, I don't even know
yeah,
what more I could ask for. So I'm
yeah,
actually looking forward to. So in Vegas, are the servers wearing masks?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They're
Here
wearing masks.
too.
But it was funny. It's like, it is so cool that it's so fresh on my mind, and we're talking about it because I observe a lot. I'm a
Mhm.
I people watch a lot. That's like naturally that's what I do.
Yeah.
So I'm observing the waiter and the waitress. Amazing service. I think out of this, I think service is going to increase by a fucking zillion because
Mm.
everybody needs customers, and they're going to tell their workers, you better treat them fucking good, you know,
That's
because
true.
it's not time to be a fucking dick right now. You need customers. So number one, the service was fucking great. But it's funny to me that they're wearing like one glove like Michael Jackson and the other one's free. All the
Really?
servers and the waitress, yeah, they were all like one glove. I don't know if that's the
Why
policy.
one glove? Yeah.
I don't know, because they were grabbing stuff with one thing, but they were grabbing shit with both hands. So I'm like, why are you just wearing one glove? And then another weird thing to me was um they're wearing one glove. They're using the same hand to serve. Sorry, Chico's barking. They're
It's all
using
good.
the same hand to serve to lay down the silverware. The same hand that they grabbed to grab the cash for the payment and left with it.
Right.
It's like, did they swap out the glove?
Because it's all the same stuff that's on the glove when you're touching it.
Exactly. That's the thing I don't get about people. People think that gloves are going to protect them, but then they're touching their face. You're just transferring shit from there to here, you know?
Right. That's I
Yeah.
even saw the guys from the CDC and stuff, and like the main doctors say that gloves can be a bit of an issue, because especially when you're wearing a mask, they say that wearing a mask makes you touch your face more, and then you have a
Uh-huh.
glove full of shit that could have maybe been washed off with sanitizer, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think from the beginning, the main thing that I was concerned was, and this is from the beginning, the thing that, can you take Chico over there, baby? Sorry. From the beginning, when we're kids, what's the thing we learn about? When somebody coughs, there's shit that's released into the air, droplets, right?
Right.
So that's the main way it was transferred, and it has been transferred, the whole virus. It's not so much from touching stuff and but however, I'm like you. I've always been also, I don't know, to what extent, but I always been a germaphobe. So I wash my hands constantly already.
Dude, when I'm traveling and shit, especially, like always,
Hmm.
I remember when we all went out for fucking dinner, like we all went and washed our hands before eating, just because I thought that's what we do.
Hmm.
We as in people, because I thought that it's just
Yeah.
common knowledge that when you're in a big area, it's going to be fucking dirty.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Since we're kids, I remember doing that. Yeah. Since I was a kid, like you said, when you're somewhere, you touch money, wash your hands. Don't don't be
Money's dirty.
touching money's
I feel like
dirty.
I was the only person who was taught that money's dirty in this fucking
Yeah.
world. Thank God somebody else realizes it. Jesus, man.
It's like a spanking. We all got spanked. We all got grounded, and I think we're all gonna learn. Hey, babe, you want this one?
What up, Lizzie? Shout out Lizzie Correa.
Cassius says, "Shout out to Lizzie Correa." So hey, pop in and say hi real quick. So I'm gonna give her the lemon,
The lemon white claw.
since you already brought me. Oh, okay, she's bringing the food. Since she already brought me some, so I'm gonna switch it up, guys. I'm switching it up to Coors Light,
Hey, okay,
and
with
you,
Carib.
yeah, and you, yes, Carib. Oh, that beer looks good. You said it's Caribbean.
Yeah, it's literally called Carib, and a premium Caribbean lager right there.
Nice.
So
So
cheers to you, my
so
man.
this one, you guys have Coors Light up there?
We do.
You know about the mountains, right?
Yeah, if it's blue, it's cold approved, right?
Yeah, it's cold approved. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, man. So yours looks good and ready. I can see it from across the country. So it's
Yeah,
damn cold.
yeah, it's ready to go. Here we
Cheers,
go.
buddy.
Ooh, that's good, bro. Yeah, man. But yeah, it felt good. Felt good going and the whole observation. It's like, you got to pretend you're doing pretend you're following procedure, and things will be okay. I think
Mhm.
restaurants, as long as they wear the mask, you know, don't be an ass. Like, look, I carry my mask in my pocket uh, for uh, for comfort for people around me.
Right.
Um, and if I'm around too many people, I'll do it for myself too. But it's mostly out of courtesy. Why be an asshole?
I sort of see that, especially because like I'm definitely not in as large of a metropolitan type of area, so to speak.
Hmm.
So I've been sort of just limited to like smaller stores and stuff. And even when I'm there, I sort of feel like, am I like when I walk past an old man wearing a mask so that he doesn't transmit it to me? I'm like, should I be wearing it? And I'm not saying I've never worn it, but it sort of does feel like that, because there is an element of people feeling comfortable that helps. And I'm never the type of guy to
Hmm.
baby any situation or to fucking like, that's really not me. But when there's something that's affecting the whole world, I sort of get it. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah,
I'm not going to go too much on the pandemic stuff, but it is funny to
yeah.
think like the last time we were in I was out there in Vegas. We were hanging out, and I feel like Vegas was like in its golden era in recent times right before this, man. It's crazy
Yeah.
to think that we'd be talking about gloves and mask techniques a couple months later.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what date was it when you came? What
I
month?
came out, it was November 17th.
November. Why? I don't know why it seems that you were out here even soon. I was thinking it was like January or something, but yeah, wow,
Yeah.
yeah, November, dude.
Time's been flying, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now when we took the shot, it gave me flashbacks of when we went to have dinner. We did the podcast at the Venezuelan spot,
Mm-hmm.
and we had some arepas, and then I'm like, hey, I told you and your dad, you guys want to go to LA Comedy Club, have a drink, hang out,
Yeah.
and I think the show was ending or something.
Mm-hmm.
But we just had some drinks with your dad and then the other Drew, the general manager,
That's
and
right.
we're doing some shots. I think after the show we closed the doors, and I think we were doing karaoke or something, right?
Yeah, everybody was up there doing karaoke, and that was the first time
Yeah,
I actually got to meet Butch Bradley, the comedian who was there.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, I remember you met Butch right there, and then you had him on the podcast, which was awesome.
I did, and super cool guy. Like
Oh yeah,
it was really good to get to meet him and everybody who runs that club. Like definitely, if anybody's who's never heard of LA Comedy Club, is inside the stratosphere or the Strat they call it now at the
yeah.
in Las Vegas, and it's a nice small intimate comedy club. So if you guys want to go see a comedy show in Vegas that's intimate, that's not like a theater show, that's the spot. But Freddie, you're like an in-house MC there, are you? Or
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm a regular there, and my regular night is Tuesday nights at 8, and then throughout the week do different spots whenever I get booked there. And yeah, to LA Comedy Club is my home club. That's where I like. I did my first year of comedy in Reno, but I've been more of a Vegas comic than I was in Reno at this point. Way more years in Vegas. So this
yeah.
is where I've been growing. I've been nurtured and just learning. So
Yeah, man. That's insane. So where did you do the show with Joey Diaz recently? Was that at Treasure Island?
yeah, that was a Treasure Island, dude.
Okay.
One of the last shows. I know I try not to talk about the pandemic that much either, because it's over it's all over the place, but
It's not
uh
yeah, you have to mention it to a degree, but yeah,
to a
I don't want to
degree.
harp on it.
Yeah, exactly. But it was right before everything fucking blew over. And here's the
Mm.
thing. The week prior to Joey coming, I had a bad cough. I'm not gonna say, oh, I had the corona flu at that time, but I had a cough, and I'm thinking, I've been waiting for this for over a year since Joey. Last time when Joey came the year before, he's like, every time you come to Vegas, you know, you're gonna be on the show. So I was
Wow.
preparing to do a little spot, and um, I wouldn't even say I opened for him. I was just doing a spot. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it was just a spot. It's different than opening. Opening means you got hired to go on the road and open. There's a huge difference. So,
Right.
as a comic, I respect the term opening for somebody.
So you were on
So
the show, so to speak.
exactly.
Okay.
So he invited me to do a spot. He told me to prepare 10 minutes, and all year I've been thinking it, like it's been always on my mind. And
Mm.
it's not the first time. This is like the third time I worked with him. So it's like I was really nervous because I've never done a theater
Right.
like
How many
that.
people are in that theater?
I would have to Google it, bro.
Over 1,000?
I think it's over 1,000.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we're
because
probably talking 1,500 to 2,000.
yeah, or maybe 1,000 to 1,500, something like that.
Okay.
It's a huge theater,
Hmm.
um, and it's one of the Circus Olay theaters.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
And so there's a giant screen above you, because it's far enough where you need a screen to see somebody if you're sitting way in the back.
Right.
And people are actually staring at the screen instead of the little figure, little comic down there in the stage. But
That's
it
crazy.
was amazing, man. I let my friends know. I had a bunch of friends that went, and it was surreal, bro. To do a show with Joey like that, and at that magnitude, to this date, this is the biggest audience I perform in front of. Before that, it was in San Jose at the Sharks, the hockey team, the Sharks arena.
Oh wow.
It was like with my buddy Chris Storin. He had me do a spot also. That was like a charity fundraiser type of thing. So it
Right.
was a lot of local officials and all. But that, to me, that was the biggest one. That was like 500 people, dude. So
Right.
Joey's show was amazing, bro. It
You
was,
basically like triple your biggest, and then you're also with Uncle Joey. I mean, somebody that we all
yeah,
know and love, man. Like, so
yeah,
did you get much interaction with him, or did you get to talk with him that night?
absolutely. Yeah, it's so I got to the club, the theater first, Lizzie and I, and
Mm-hmm.
we're in the green room. We go to the door and I'm like, hey, I'm on the show. And they're like, are you really? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing a spot tonight. And they're like, okay. So then they introduced me to a stage manager. They're all very super, like the hospitality. It's amazing. They
Yeah,
take us back there. There's food, there's salami, cheese, bread. It's like platters of like
like a
drinks.
doctor.
Oh yeah, dude. And this Circus Olay green room is amazing, dude. They have a pool table in there. They have exercise equipment, a
Wow.
bunch of couches. It's like a game room. It's super cool. And so we're chilling there, Lizzie and I, and I'm just, my hands are all sweaty. I'm like,
I
but
don't blame you, dude.
I have been pumping myself up on the way over there all day at work, and I'm nervous as fuck. But all I know about nerves is that you're not really gonna get rid of them. You just gotta learn to live with them,
Mm-hmm.
and 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 fake it. Here's one thing I've learned: you gotta not show it because it's contact. It's like contact high. If you're all nervous, comics don't like that that energy. If you're
The other
nervous,
comics, even.
yeah, comics, yeah. There's some
Wow.
comics that are confident as fuck. God bless them. Thank you. I wish I had that. But this is what I love about Joey. Joey's like that too. He talked the episode after we did the show, he talked about his nerves. He was pacing back and forth in the Treasure Island Tower with nerves. And then out here I am in the green room, not knowing that the last 2 hours Joey has been fucking having panic attacks and shit. So,
Seriously, you're like Joey's probably eating fucking 20 edibles, living it up, you know?
yeah, dude. And so all of a sudden I hear from afar coming in, the elevator opens up and I hear Dean Del Rey and Joey talking, the stage manager. I hear ruckus, laughs. And this whole time, Joey said on his podcast he was nervous. But
Wow.
here comes Joey. Does he act nervous? Fuck no. He's
Mm.
acting like a fucking doctor, like he knows what the fuck he's doing. He's
Yeah,
not showing it. So that calmed me down to
right.
see him and Dean Del Rey interact. He says what's up to me, he says what's up to Lizzie. And I brought some gifts to Joey. Here I am talking. All of a sudden the nerves, fuck it. It went away. I
It
forgot
went
about it.
away. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about it. So just as much as contact nerves could affect people, I think calm and tranquility can affect other people as well. I think you
That's
spread that
interesting,
as well.
man. That
Mm-hmm.
makes a lot of sense, and that's so funny
Yeah,
because you were calmed by the energy of Joey that he was deciding to put out, but he was
yeah,
arguably more nervous and panicked than you.
yeah, yeah,
That's crazy, man. So I guess you can also affect the output of that. And I think
yeah,
that in theory, if you get the other person comfortable, maybe it'll help you.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
really interesting,
And
man.
and also another thing I was doing. One of my strategies that week, I mentioned I had a cough, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want Joey to freak out. This is when you were barely hearing of the pandemic shit. I don't want him to freak out, and then I don't want to scare him that I'm sick. I had already pretty much kind of recovered, but I was still coughing here and there. So I had a shitload of cough drops in my pocket. So as soon as I felt some little cough coming, I'm like, you know, I need a little bit of sweet, moisturize the throat, cough is gone. So it kept me going.
A drop per cough.
Yeah, dude. And it helps with your throat, when you're going to go out there on stage and you need something sweet, some honey, some tea, something.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro. So seconds, here we are now behind the curtain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still chill. Now we moved from the green room. We went through this hallway, elevator. Now we're walking through this giant fucking ceiling because it's Circus Soleil. You got to have giant high ceilings for
Right.
these fucking people to do all their whatever the flips and all that shit they do. That's my
Right.
mom in the back.
Hi,
So
Mom.
so um I'm looking around like in awe. I'm like, so where do we come out? I'm asking the stage manager. She's like, over there. And I'm like, all the way over there? And it's like 30 steps to get to the middle of the stage. It's such a big stage. And
Damn.
then I actually have to break through these giant fucking curtains. So here we go. 30 seconds left. I'm still talking to Joey. We're just having a regular conversation. Stage manager's like, okay, 10 seconds. All right. So now I'm walking over. I'll take a drink. Okay. No, I think I need another drink. Okay, one more drink. I gotta wipe my mouth. Like all these little ticks are going through, right?
Yeah.
And here it is. Joey grabs the mic, the cordless mic, and he introduces me. You know, and at
Wow.
this point, I hit record because I always record my audio.
Hmm.
So forever, I'm gonna
Smart
say that.
man.
Yeah. Forever, I'm gonna have that. Like Joey bring me out on stage,
Wow.
saying, "Here comes one of my buddies, a bad motherfucker," and he gives it up. Give it up for Freddy Correa. And then I go in there, I walk out, roar, and they don't know who the fuck I am. And one of the things about opening for here, I'm saying the word opening, but one of the things about doing the show, it's
No, I know
just
what you
custom.
mean.
It's a habit. It's a habit. But I do it out of respect. I don't like to say opening out of respect. But one
No,
thing's
that's good.
about doing a show with somebody that has a huge following like that. When you do a show at a comedy club, they're just going to laugh. They don't know who the fuck's performing unless it's like a bringer, not a bringer. Somebody has pull like a Louis C.K. or like if you go to the cellar, the comedy store. But if you go
Yeah.
to like a regular comedy club, you're just gonna laugh. They're comics. Who are they? I don't give a fuck. I just want to laugh.
Yeah.
It's a different experience when you do a show with someone that brings everybody in the audience because they are who they are.
Right. From their
Okay.
show or their acting or whatever it may be. Right.
Yeah.
It's
So
a different
everybody's
energy.
there. They're not there to see me. They're there to see Joey.
Hmm.
So that means that, and Seinfeld said this, you got like 30 seconds of grace, maybe even less. Like Seinfeld even said, you could be as famous as fuck. He didn't say fuck, but that's only going to buy you like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. After that, you need to prove yourself that you're funny.
Right.
Because if you start sucking, dude, you heard the horror stories, like people that do shows with dice, and then
Oh.
they're like, fuck you, bring out dice, because if you suck, they're pissed. They want to see who they came to see. So here I am, bro. I bust out and I had a great fucking time. And it's an experience that I'm always going to remember no matter what happens in the future. It's
Man.
amazing. Out of all the other 3 times I've done shows with Joey, I've done it in Reno, at the South Point. This was unforgettable, bro. Unforgettable. So
That's insane, man. Wow. Well, I'm so happy for you,
yeah,
dude. Like it's incredible to see you and all these other guys. Like I always try to say whenever I have somebody from the church or this community on, like just
yeah,
how far people are really going for it, dude, and how far this is really taking people.
yeah.
Um any plans to what are your next plans in terms of actually I was gonna say, see, I'm thinking in normal life because I'm talking to you and it's bringing me to the past. I was gonna say travel plans for comedy, but that's
Yeah.
obviously not in the cards. So I guess let me ask you this: what are you doing to stay sharp during this time when it comes to comedy?
Uh, not a goddamn thing.
Not a goddamn. You're like, dude, I'm just fucking funny as fuck, man. Fuck you.
Dude, I think I've been doing more stand up in my dreams. I've been having a lot of dreams about stand up, going up
Really?
on stage, doing jokes. Sometimes, love you, ma. um, Doing jokes, like brand new jokes. I have dreams of doing a set list and forgetting my set list.
Mm,
But so not until recently, bro, it was like a little wake up call. I'm like, fuck, it's been 2 months. I haven't wrote, and
yeah.
one of my fears is everybody's gonna talk about this shit. So I've been focusing again on some of my old bits, getting them back out. So just
Hmm.
writing, you know.
Yeah.
I think when we're about to open up, I need to go back and listen to my audio,
Hmm.
and I might have to do what I used to do back in the day. I used to rehearse. I used to say it out loud, and I haven't done that in a long time. But what I always do is I listen to my audio. That helps me refresh my memory. But I mean, dude, it's my own fault that I haven't done any writing.
Right.
as much writing as I should, because I have been writing again. But it's because everything got taken away, right? Like my routine was to go to the gym, uh, or do some kind of cardio or lifting weights, and for some reason that helps me with my anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
my any kind of depression, and and then my routine is when I go sit in the hot tub, even if it's just my legs,
Mm.
no headphones, not listen to music, no podcasts, just me and my mind, my thoughts, that or the sauna, and that's where I work out my bits. It's
Okay.
kind
So
of like
you
meditating.
meditate, right? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So I need to get back into those routines and figure out a different way. It's almost like we've been on vacation, but I took advantage of it. I went a little too long, and now it's time to, especially now that I went to a fucking restaurant, it's a wake up call. Oh shit, things are somehow getting back to normal. I mean, Caesars is opening up, some casinos are opening up. So
Right.
the Strat is about to open up. They just released a
Yeah.
statement of, I shared it on my Facebook. So yeah, man, that's what I guess that's what I've been doing. Um, a lot of funny shit has happened. So that shit that has happened, I need to apply it to comedy stories, you know. I
Definitely,
just
man.
I'm just every comic's afraid of this. Not everyone. If you like being a hack, you're not afraid of it. But
Yeah.
every comic's afraid of being a hack or being
Mm-hmm.
called a hack.
Every good comic,
Yeah,
and then some, I think, make a living off it.
yeah, exactly. So I don't want to go out there and do what everybody else is doing. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense, man. And that's dope to have you come on here and be candid about it, because it'd be so easy to say, yeah, I wrote my next two specials and fucking have nothing in the vault. And obviously I don't take you as that kind of guy. But it's dope to hear all the perspectives, because I think people are really wondering, what are comedians doing to get through this, and like what it's going to be like, type of thing. Let me ask you this: as a comic, what are your thoughts on people who are doing shows, like live stream shows without audiences and stuff like that? And what's your take on it? And do you think it could last past this when things open up?
You know, I've shit on it quite a bit, but I do respect the desire. I have shit on it. I'm not gonna lie. I've shit and clown on it, but when it comes down to it, we need an outlet. Comedians, whether you know you're a comic or not, whether you're thinking of doing comedy, you need an outlet to express your funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's their way, that so be it. Me for myself, to me that's not stand up. It's not my cup of tea, right?
Mm-hmm.
um but I praise them for what they're doing. I now Having said, I do shit on it because it looks ridiculous just for for people to just rant. It's like, instead of doing that, do a fucking podcast, or do like a podcast with someone else and just have a conversation. That's just gonna be funnier because it's gonna be natural. But to do a prepared bit, like a written bit,
Mm-hmm.
just with a camera. It, have you ever heard a comedian do bits on the podcast, like slip them in?
I've heard something similar to that, like when they do the opening, and I was like, are you trying to do a bit?
Yeah, you've heard Rogan call out comics, even if they're their friends.
Yeah.
Are you doing a bit right now?
Yeah.
It just sounds so cheesy. It
It
sounds like,
does.
oh,
There's definitely
that,
something to that.
and that's what it feels like. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel
No.
natural. And the,
That.
the the point of going on stage and making people laugh is that it sounds natural, because it sounds like you're improvising it when you've done it before.
Hmm. Yeah.
Even
No. That.
though even though you could be, sorry to cut you off, but
No. No.
even though you've done it before, every time you do it, it's a little different. Like Joey, every time Joey goes on stage, he does it differently. But it's something that's been done before, something that's been premeditated. Um, but to just do it on camera, it just feels weird. But I praise them though. I give them props. Mad respect for that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they're trying to get out there, so I sort of see both sides of the aisle. But again, it's not the same as regular stand up. And I was trying to see it with an open mind, and I still am, because I see, you know people watching stand up specials at their house, and they're even though they're watching a comic perform in front of an audience,
Hmm.
they're still just watching a comic in their house and there's nobody around them. So I
Yeah.
was like, maybe there's a way to expand that and do it without an audience in the video. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's sort of a double-edged sword. But
Yeah.
the things that I've been liking is like Jeff Ross going on. He's doing Instagram roasts. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I haven't. That's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty
he's
cool.
having people call in on Instagram and he's roasting them live to try to stay sharp. So I think it's kind of cool to see what comics are doing to try to go in there. But I have seen you going crazy on the with the podcast.
Yeah, yeah, that's my outlet right now.
Yeah, man.
That's one of my outlets. I've been putting more episodes out, kind of documenting what's going on and everything. But I've been laying off of the whole thing already quite a bit. But I'm gonna start serving myself another shot. I'll serve you. I'll serve you one too if you like.
Please, please. I got my beer rocking and rolling, a brand new one.
But here's the thing. This is also because I don't, I don't want to sound, even though I am being disrespectful when I say I'm clowning on it, but think about it though.
But
I
it's your
don't blame.
opinion.
Right, it's my opinion that it's not for me. But when I see my friends do it, I'll put it like this: comics hate bombing. I hate bombing. But comics love seeing their friends bomb. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? You
Yeah,
see what I'm
makes
saying?
sense.
So it's like mad respect for doing it, but I enjoy watching it. Like how uncomfortable it is. I'll watch a couple seconds of it and then go to something else. But I enjoy it. It's
Right.
cool. But here's the thing, though. A lot of these guys on stage, they're way fun. A lot of them are way funnier, way more talented than me. And if they're doing it on camera through Zoom to make people laugh, that's why I say mad props to them. Because at the same time, um, a lot of them, this is their full time job. Remember when we did the Swapcast, we talked about that.
Hmm.
Some comics do this full time. So right now they have no income, so they're getting paid through that. So
Yeah.
fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Make your money. Make that money. I'm very fortunate that I still have my day job and I'm considered essential. You know.
Hmm.
Uh so so that's why like I can't knock him for that. I can't
Yeah.
knock him for that at all.
No, no, and that's legitimate too because there's definitely a lane for it, and I guess it's just not for you, but it's definitely could be for somebody. So that's
Hmm.
totally fair. Let me ask
Yeah.
you this: going back to the regular days, there must be a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in Vegas. In terms of like going out and just hitting the scene, do you have like any craziest experience of something that's randomly happened to you, like maybe on the Strip or on Fremont?
Oh, like not in comedy, just like
It could be in comedy, but it could not be.
oh, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, Vegas is very interesting. Like I said, I like to people watch. So I'll tell you something. Like just recently, I saw um I was fueling up my vehicle, and I see uh a lady of the night. and, and it was during the daytime around noon, and I
But you
see
knew she
this.
was of the night.
Yeah, she was of the night.
Let's
She was
be real.
definitely on a. Yeah, she was of the night. Yeah, and they've been out there. They haven't stopped. They're out there. They're
Oh,
doing their
really?
thing. That has not stopped. And,
Mm,
and as a lot of people think it's legal in Vegas, it's not legal in Clark County. So it's not legal in Vegas. It's legal in only two counties in Nevada. So it's
right,
legal in the city of Pahrump and Lyon County up north, so prostitution is not legal in
right.
Vegas. So, but they've been going at it. They're still working.
Maybe they've been doing better.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe,
People are at
maybe.
home,
Yeah, yeah.
single.
Because I mean, yeah, I think so. They're out there, they're working, and I see this dude in a bicycle hit on one,
Hmm.
and then he's like waving. I took a picture of it. I'll text it to you in a little bit.
Hmm.
But he's all like pointing over here, over there, and I'm thinking, I wonder if like because you never know. I also see a lot of people like the cops hang out around that area, so you never know which one's on a cover, right? And I'm like, this guy's in a bike, and she's willing to like walk with him. Like, how are they going to arrest him if if the deal's made and he's on the bike and he's like, I guess that's when the transaction's offered, when you solicit, that's when it's considered a crime.
Right.
So they walked away, and he's walking his bike. But she walked away with him. And then on that same corner, not that moment, but another day, I saw a cop and a hooker yelling at each other, and he's telling her, "Calm down. I'm just asking you a couple questions." She's like, "No, you're always harassing me. I'm just over here trying to meet my friend." This and that. and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, if she's talking to the cop, because she was cussing him out.
Right.
If she's talking to the cop like that, she's a real one.
A real hooker or a real person?
No, yeah, like she's a real hooker.
A real hooker.
Like she's not undercover.
No, yeah. For real. Okay, so you knew that was out of the question.
Yeah, like, okay, like if I was a bystander and if I'm out there looking, I'm gonna be like, as soon as that cop leaves, I know where I'm going. You know, like
right. Yeah, that one. It's like virtue signaling. Come and get me.
Yeah, if you could put up with a couple of C sections, and somebody that looks like a little bit like the Michelin,
the tire man. Hey, the tire person, we got to be gender fluid.
yeah, tire person, then you know where your target is, unless they were just acting. What if they were acting just to put up a front? You know.
So is there that many undercovers? Is that a real big thing? It must be.
I think so, because it's a pathway in the area where I work, Tropicana by the Orleans. That's the little hooker strip for this side of town. There's about 3 of them in town, and
sorry, what was that? Tropicana? No, I'm just joking.
By the Orleans Casino. So that little area, I always fuel up on the Arco, this little gas station right across the street from the Orleans, and then right after that, you see a 7-Eleven, and in the 7-Eleven, you always see the cops. Like they busted somebody. You know what I mean? As soon as they get in the car, boo,
right away. That's crazy. Would you say that most of the stuff like that in Vegas goes down off the strip? Because it could always just be the certain days I was there and the certain areas I went to, but it seemed like all the craziness I expected to see on the strip, it didn't quite happen to me, and that in a positive sense. Only the craziness that I wanted happened. It seems like it almost has a much more dangerous reputation than it really is.
Interesting.
At least in Canada.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of like gambling. You just got a different deck of the cards drawn to you. Because there's been other people that have a whole different experience, where they just see some crazy shit. But Vegas is crazy. Here's my opinion. I think from what I've seen in 8 years that I lived here, I think Vegas is crazier closer to the strip and downtown old Vegas than outside of Vegas. And by what I mean by that is that you have people coming from all over the world drinking, and there's more chaos. So it depends how late you are out at night too. I think the trouble starts around 11 p.m., maybe midnight, and between midnight and 6 a.m., that's when the shit goes down.
You feel something brewing.
Yeah, if you hang out down the strip quite a bit, you'll see fights. Just random people, just knuckleheads that can't find girls. They fight other knuckleheads. I've seen fights like that. I saw a fight of this little short guy fighting 4 big dudes, and he was fucking up one at a time until they all piled up on him. But it was like, if you look up on YouTube, just type in YouTube, Las Vegas fights. They're all on the strip.
That's true. They're all in like hotel lobbies. I was like, I thought the Paris was a nice one.
Yeah, dude. Tupac jumped somebody on the fucking strip, dude.
That's true, man. I was so fucking obsessed walking around that hotel fucking drunk. I was like, all eyes on me, bitch. Like this fucking ride it's like, this doesn't make you any closer to him. What do you fucking think?
I always feel like a tour guide when I have friends and I take them to the MGM. I take them to the fountain where Tupac jumped a dude. Yeah. And then if we pass by Koval and Flamingo, I always take him where he got shot. And he's an amazing person. But I always feel that's my tour guide That's the only thing you're gonna get out of me. I'll show you where Tupac.
Yeah, for real. No, that's worth it. Yeah, it was crazy. Like I was in the van coming back, or I think I was headed like to the helicopter tour or back, but I realized I was on Flamingo and Koval and in the
Mhm.
left lane, and we were parked at the red light for like 2.5 minutes, and I was just like,
Turning left.
yeah, and I was like, I'm glad
Yeah,
that we were here for so long because I could have parked here and not realized this was the lane, but I was like,
yeah,
it's weird, like a weird energy in that spot, man.
yeah. What's one of your most memorable moments of Vegas when you were out here? Because you were out here quite a few days, right?
Whole week, man. Yeah,
A whole
7
week, yeah,
days. I mean, honestly, like meeting with you and Lizzie was one of them, dude. I mean, that shit, and I'm not just saying that. That shit was like, it definitely was the cherry on top. Having my dad see me do a podcast in person and stuff, and having it be in a different city, like I think it just was a huge impact. But other than that,
yes,
like definitely, I think Fremont Street was crazy.
yeah, oh yeah,
That shit was, I was just like, man, like I was like, people aren't coming here before the strip. What? I was like, this is just as good, if not fucking maybe a little better than the strip, because it almost feels like a little bit of a secret.
yeah. Most locals like Fremont, Old Vegas better.
Yeah, man. I love
Yeah,
that shit, dude. Like I honestly, when I went there, like and people say, "Oh, you go somewhere once, you want to live there." I'm not that type because I've been to many places, but I
yeah,
definitely I could see myself living in Vegas just because of the accessibility to Cali and then not having to deal with the Cali bullshit.
yeah. Cost of living is way lower than Cali, way less taxes, and that's the thing. Like you mentioned, people think of Vegas, they think of like party. It might be chaos off of the strip, or no, off of the strip. It's regular life. You
Yeah.
live a regular life off of the strip. If you watch any reality show, Ultimate Fighter, they train out here. You see Vegas, they don't even show the strip barely. It's just a desert. It's a beautiful city, beautiful homes,
Yeah.
culture. Everybody is from everywhere. ¿Me das otra cerveza? Ma? No, esa no cerveza. Tómate.
I
Sorry.
understood one word of that, so I can get behind Cerveza.
My- my-
What do you got?
So she came out of her room right now. My mom's staying with us. She's visiting from Reno. And she's like, this isn't a beer, right? Look what she had.
Oh my! Oh, there you go. Well, it's not technically a beer, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah. There, that's beer. Like, come over here, mom. Say hi. Say hi to Cassius.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's good to see you.
Salud.
Salute. Cheers.
Oh, Corona.
Yeah.
No
Yes,
Corona
yes.
por mí.
Hear it. We're safe. We're safe.
Oh, no es Corona, es que, ¿qué dice ahí? Carlitos, parece que dice.
It's a beer from the Caribbean.
Oh.
He says hi.
Hi.
Rock
Yes,
and roll.
so-
Hi, baby.
You
I'm the
guys are
baby.
best.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to see you, Mrs. Correa. See you.
She said, good to see you. Thank you, mom. And she gave me a beer. Wow, what an amazing mom.
Wow.
Yeah,
My
throw this
mom
one
would
away.
never do that for me. No, I'm sure she definitely would. We love you.
Yeah, sure. It's an energy drink. So for the listeners that aren't watching video, my mom came out of the room with a Bang energy drink. Oh, it's sugar-free, mom, so you're okay. No tiene azúcar. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, you're okay. She's gonna have all this energy. She's gonna have a panic attack like Uncle Joey and myself.
Yeah, she's gonna go to drive to the Tropicana. Or the
She's a
Treasure
woman.
Island.
She's gonna start pacing back and forth. So she comes out of the room and she's like, "Is this isn't beer, huh? It's too sweet." She just flipped me off.
We had to get that on the show.
Yeah. So now she got herself a real beer and yeah, it's so cool to have my mom here because she usually comes once a year for about a month. We've had her here for about 2 months and a half, because
Nice.
she's 72. I didn't want her being in Reno by herself in case she caught that shit. So it's been good having her here. But
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm with family right now myself, man. It's just like it's sort of better to be together with all this crazy stuff going on for sure, man. So
yeah,
gotta stay
but
connected.
you were saying you could see yourself living in Vegas, huh?
Yeah, man. Like definitely, especially after I talked to Butch on the podcast, he was just
Yeah.
talking to me like about the like just the price of living like that he pays like in dollars and cents and shit and like things that
Yeah.
I could pay and just it was making so much sense and
Yeah.
it was crazy, man. Actually, I'll tell you what a funny experience was that I had in Vegas.
Yeah.
One of the highlights was I actually went out on a date in Vegas.
Oh.
Yeah, which was really weird. I met a Tinder date actually in Vegas. Now, let me tell you, I don't use Tinder anymore, but in the summer of last year and leading up to the fall, I definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
So I told you about the reputation Vegas sort of has about like what happens in Vegas stays there, blah blah blah. So
Uh-huh.
I figured if I was on Tinder in Vegas, it would all be like Uncle Joey says, the filthy animals. You know what I'm saying? Like these chicks that are just down and fucking dirty. What hotel are you at? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I was just on Tinder and I'm meeting these really, really nice, normal ass girls. And I was like, shit, man. And I start talking to one. We end up
Mm-hmm.
arranging a date. So we met out on the strip. And that shit was weird, dude, because I was realizing that I'm the guy. I got to host the date, but I don't know where the fuck I am. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for directions around the strip and shit. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you, dude, like just, and obviously you've done it many times, but just being on a date on the strip was like, it was like a movie for me because like out here, there's just nothing like that, nothing remotely like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was fucking insane, but
Where'd
it
you
was
take her?
we went out, we literally went to the Bellagio, did the fountains and all that, and then we ended up going to Shake Shack and stuff because
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, man, I told her I'd
Yeah.
never tried Shake Shack, so we went down there.
Now let me ask you this: was it the first time she's been in Vegas?
She lives there.
Oh shit.
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying, man.
Oh.
So I actually got to meet, and this is an exclusive. Like I don't even talk about this, but I got to meet a girl out there, and there was like it was interesting, dude. It
Yeah.
was interesting because I'd never been really on a date in another city. Like it was always like I'm showing people around or recommending a good spot type of thing.
Hey, she must have a good gig too, though. I mean, that what a great gig. You live in Vegas, and you could just meet people are in and out.
Yeah.
Set it, forget it, never see you again unless you want to. That's great. Like if I was a chick, that'd be fucking great. Work during the week, and then like meet someone, and don't have to worry about like the dishes. You know.
Right. Well, that's the thing, man. And she was going to UNLV and all that stuff. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that's pretty cool. You know, like
That's great. That's fucking awesome. Now, have you kept in touch with her?
now here's the funny part. And here's why I wanted to bring it up. So like,
Yeah.
I thought she was really cool. And like,
Uh-huh.
we sort of hit it off and she was ready to actually come out here and visit me. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right, yeah, come through and shit. Like we were talking. And then I see a couple Snapchats, like she's posting out on some date with a guy. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, you're in Vegas, you're having fun. Then another date with a guy a couple days later, then another date with a guy. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to delete you because why the fuck am I going to subscribe to the Date with a Guy show? So I just took her off, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck it. What happens in Vegas really does stay in Vegas. Fuck it.
That's her gig. See what I'm saying? That's her gig. She has a good gig for herself. It's not for
Yeah,
you.
man. Just the fucking, she got to talk to the kid from Canada. She got her perspective.
Yeah.
I got
This
mine.
light, it's bugging me. Is this light bugging you? Let me close the curtain.
Yeah, close the curtain. It's all good, bro. But I just thought that was hilarious, dude. I mean, it was the
Yeah.
weirdest thing, man.
So when was the last time you talked to her?
It was like a month. I'll tell you. I'll tell the listeners, then I'll tell Freddie. It's all good. It was a month.
You said a month? Sorry.
It's okay. It was a month and a half after I came back from Vegas. Was like about. We talked for about 2 months
Okay.
after that.
See, it would have been interesting if you would have hung out through the whole thing and see what she's doing now. See if she's still doing her dates.
That's the thing, man. It would be so interesting because listen, she was a really nice girl. I would be interested.
Yeah.
And especially because there's somebody out in Vegas, like. But I
Yeah.
always felt like, yeah, I mean, you got to think. I had friends, I had comedians, I had dates. I felt very goddamn welcome in Vegas. Everybody did a very good job of welcoming me out there.
Hell yeah, dude.
It was
Wish we
crazy,
could have
dude.
hung out way more, man.
Yeah, man, it's all good. I mean, that's the other thing that I learned from going there is that when you're in a city like that, and I feel like it's way worse in LA and New York, so I'm ready for that. But it's like what you plan isn't what ends up happening. It's a version of what you plan.
Right, right.
That's really what I'm finding. Like, I got to meet
That's
you. It
so
didn't
true.
happen how I thought. We didn't go where I thought, but I loved every second of it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I've started to let go of it going how I've planned and then letting it be a version of it. You know, it's like there's some people
yeah.
I didn't even get to meet at all that I figured I would definitely meet. But
That's a great way of putting it about anybody that comes out to Vegas. The way you plan it, it's not really going to happen the way you think it
no.
is. It's like an idea of it, but it's going to be totally different.
Yeah.
When I look back all the times I came to Vegas to visit with my friends, we planned something, but yeah, you're right. It turned out totally different. Whether it turned out to like the night turned into shit because someone got too wasted, or it was an epic night and you met amazing people. So yeah, it is so true. Very true. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you went
man.
to Dre's nightclub, didn't you?
I tried to get into Dre's nightclub, but it didn't end up working out actually because
Ah,
I didn't. Here's the thing: like I was trying to go in as a single dude. So here, like where
oh,
I'm at, it's if you want to get into the club, it's $15. Period. Fucking, it
mhm.
doesn't matter if you're fucking Tom, Dick, or Harry. But out there, they're talking to me about $200 is cheap to get in as a single guy. I was like, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
But
No, that's one thing. That's the shitty part of Vegas right there. You got to have
but
more
that's what makes it
girls.
exclusive
Hmm.
because you
Yeah.
don't want a club full of single guys who pay $200.
Yeah. No, you don't want that. Then you got Skankfest.
Yeah, for real though. No, that makes sense. Yay, there you go. Beautiful.
Yeah. The first year, I went out there. I was like, I was a little scared of like, it's called Skankfest,
Hmm.
the
What is it
festival for
exactly?
comedy. It's a comedy festival in New York created by the Legion of Skanks podcast, and I was like, this is gonna be a little too crazy for my wife to be coming out here. I'm gonna go check it out. And then when I saw that it was nothing but peaceful, nerdy podcast dudes, I'm like, this is fucking amazing. The next year there's barely any girls the first year. Next year I brought my wife. I came with my second wife, Sammy Solorio, my buddy.
Okay. I was like, this is news to me.
Yeah. So he's a comic too in Reno. So we all met up in New York, right?
Hmm.
So with Sammy, and we did that, and there was way more girls. I think so it was crazy, but I get what you're saying, because it could be like the club could be nothing but dudes, and then what's the point of that? You gotta have more chicks, you know?
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't even know if it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is, you know? And I'm also starting to think back and I'm like, I also think a good reflection of my trip and not experiencing any trouble or anything like that is that I was walking around with my father, who's essentially visibly, he would look like a bodyguard if you didn't know us.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah.
I think that helps
Oh yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man,
Yeah.
no doubt. So
Yeah. You're.
there's a couple questions that I actually had that were set that I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Um, so the first one is, and this isn't just set to Vegas. I want to know what's the craziest thing that you've had happen in relation to your comedy career. What's one thing that was just insane?
One thing that was insane in my comedy career. Um. Well, there's been so many different interesting things that have happened as far as like whether for the good or for the bad or just funny stuff. Like maybe it's not. I don't have a lot of insane stuff. I mean, you've seen the video I recorded with the heckler guy. The other guy approaches the other guy and then he gets kicked in the chest. That was pretty insane. I
Right.
recorded that video and I put it online. It went viral.
For
You could
anybody
check
who
it
hasn't
out.
seen that.
Yeah, if you look up heckler gets kicked by a comedian, it was an open mic here in Vegas. Sammy was there, Lizzie was there, and it was a hectic, chaotic night where um, this open micer rushed the host. They were going bantering back and forth, and like I said, go watch the video. But it ended up the host kicked my buddy Tino. He ended up kicking him in self defense. I recorded it. I happened to walk out of the restroom because I heard squealing. Somebody was squealing, like yelling, like top of his
Squealing.
lungs. Yeah, it was like loud. So I'm like,
Wow.
something's happening. I get my phone ready, and I walked out recording. And I ended up after a lot of thinking and whatever. I'm like, I asked permission from my buddy. I didn't ask permission from the guy kicked because he's an asshole, but
Right.
he used to torture the comedy scene all over, heckling always. And
All over
um,
Vegas?
yeah, all over the open mics. He would show up and heckle and try to be. He was one of those goofy guys. He's still around, but he's one of those goofy guys. You ever hear the Comedy Store? Like, you always hear the crazies, the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the Ding Dong Show, the people that Don Barris puts up.
The boom shakalakas and all
Yeah,
the.
but Boone Shakalaka is a sweetheart. He's not.
Yeah,
an
he's a bad
asshole,
motherfucker. Don't get me. We
you
love
know?
you, man.
Yeah, I love Boone. You know, but this guy was an ass. I'm not even gonna mention his name, but if you watch the video, you'll see. But yeah, this guy was an asshole. So anyway, I upload the video. It goes fucking viral in the comedy scene. And it was like people either went for it and said, great job for kicking that motherfucker. And then there was a very small percentage of people saying, oh, that's messed up. You kicked the old man. And at first people thought it was me because my name was on the title on the bottom.
Yeah, you put it up, right?
I put Freddy Correa. I wanted to, FreddyCorrea.com,
Right,
marketing, dude.
Twitter.
Yeah, fucking Kurt Metzger hit me up on Twitter. He's like, hey, great job on kicking that motherfucker. And I'm like, oh, no, bro, it wasn't me. It was my friend. Who was he? And then I sent him Tino's Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, it's, bro, that shit it went all over the place. It went on the Bonfire with Big J and Dan Soder. They did a commentary that's hilarious. They make fun of me the way I edit the video. At first, they think I'm the kicker too, and then they realize that I'm the director, and then they say something like, "This guy should be editing movies in Hollywood." He's like Quentin Tarantino. He started with the kick in the beginning, and then he goes to the beginning. Red Band brought it up to Rogan on one episode, and they broke it down.
Nice,
bro. It was fucking crazy. Unfortunate that dude got kicked, but to me that's one of the craziest things that have happened. Like, but there's just so many weird things that have happened. Like people going on stage. People, I mean, it's Vegas. People are super drunk. They're day drinking all day.
Yeah.
I was going through my old videos, my old phone, just trying to find old videos the other day when I used to open for Edwin San Juan at Planet Hollywood. And there was a video where there was this guy that was torturing us. I was the host. There was a guest spot, and there was a middle act, and Edwin. And this guy was torturing every one of us. He was heckling us. He had his foot on stage, wearing a pink shirt, open down to his chest. He was like the king of the fucking world. He was wearing sandals. We're all shitting on him, but he didn't let us get through our set. We kept telling him, shut the fuck up. We're going to kick you out. And I recorded on the side. Here I'm recording always fucking recording and shit.
Right. You got to.
You got to, bro. That's why when I hear that there's fights, when there's an open mic or a show that there's fights, I'm like, did somebody record it?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Get your fucking camera and record that shit.
It's in your pocket.
It's in your fucking pocket. Oh, it pisses me off. But anyway, I'm recording on the side, and I see the progression of this dude. And then finally, when Edwin comes out on stage, Edwin destroys him. And security got there, and the casino security, and they kick him out, and everybody's clapping. Like, fuck yeah, get the fuck out of here. And then the show went great. But yeah, I mean,
that's funny. Holy shit, man. Yeah, never a dull moment.
And this is not a crazy story. Let me tell you a quick story. I did this story when I did the show with Joey and Reno at Reno Tahoe Comedy Club. I got molested while I was on stage. No, not when I was on stage. When I was a cable guy up in Reno. So I used to go into people's homes and install their cable, their internet. Yeah, I got molested by this old guy. So I walk in, and this guy, I do this story on stage. So but I'm just telling you not as a bit, just as a story. This guy looked like Paul Giamatti. Think of Paul Giamatti, just a little chubby dude, little afro, Jew afro, whatever.
I hate to laugh, but the visual. Yeah, you're like, I got molested. I'm just laughing.
Yeah, dude, in a bathrobe. This dude opens the door in the bathroom, and he kept asking me questions. How does the remote work? And what does this do on the DVR? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, this guy, he's not that bright. So I'm thinking back in the day, we could upsell people and make sales every time
Oh.
you upsell a box. So I'm like, what do you have in the bedroom? I'm thinking. And he's like, oh, I just have a regular box. I'm like, we have a promo right now. I could get you a DVR in the bedroom and you could try it out for 30 days. I get $20 off of that.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So I went to the truck. I grabbed my DVR. I'm like, this fucking idiot. I'm going to make me $20 off of this. And bro, if you make 5 sales, that's $100. Every sale was
Yeah.
$20, flat sell, flat fee
Per person. Yeah, that's
per
damn
person.
good. Yeah.
You make 5 sales. So, dude, technicians in Reno were making bank on that shit. So we walk to the bedroom, and then he stops in the middle of the hallway, and he turns around and dude, I always remember how gross it is because he's like, and this is literally what he says. So I'm not doing the bit. I do this on stage. He's like, are you Harry? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, I'm Freddy. I literally, me not knowing what the fuck he was talking about. But he's like, no, are you Harry? And as soon as he said it the second time, he reaches under my shirt and starts grabbing my chest, dude.
Whoa.
And we're like next to the entrance of his master bedroom. And I freaked out. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Wow.
Like, I didn't know.
What'd you
I
do?
didn't know. I pushed him super hard. Like, like, not like a push, like, get off of me. No, like a punch push.
Right.
Boom.
Fight, like, get the fuck off me.
Yeah. That fool like stumbled back and fell into his bed. So that's why it's like, it was now as a comic, when I tell it on stage, it's like it wrote itself. Out of all places, that he lands on a fucking bed. And so I did that story on stage at Reno Tahoe Comedy Club as a bit. And there's this thing they do in probably only Reno Tahoe Comedy Club. They do intermission because they could sell more money in the intermission with alcohol. So in the intermission, I run into some people. Usually I like doing that because I like, they're gonna be like, good set, good job, whatever. And I was hosting that night. Well, one guy comes up to me, and it was this fat dude, pretty big, heavy set guy, and he's like, hey, that bit you were doing right there, I think you're funny, but you could be more creative than that. I think it was a bit homophobic. I'm like, what? Homophobic? What do you mean homophobic? I was just telling a story that happened to me. I got molested by an old gay guy.
It could have been anybody who did it. You would probably still say it.
Yeah, it could have. Yeah, it was just like, it happened to me as an adult. Who gets molested as a fucking adult? While you're awake. It's like, so it's like, I'm like, fuck you. It's my story. Like, I didn't say nothing. I think that the most homophobic thing I probably said was, I didn't know old gay people existed. Like, and it was a stupid joke. I used to say, because of AIDS, get it? It was back in the day. So,
but it was, the key word is joke. The key word is joke.
It's a joke.
You're a fucking comedian. I thought people knew that by now, but they seem to forget it when you offend them.
Yeah, exactly. So then I'm standing. We're like a couple feet off of the bar. Here comes this other fat heavy set. I don't know why I say fat heavy set.
Just to emphasize it.
Yeah, this other fat gay dude. And he's like, this is my partner. This is Freddy. I'm like, hey man, look, just so you know, it's a joke. I hope you don't take it the wrong way, but I'm not gonna apologize. It's a joke. And he's like, well, it's okay as long as you know it's a joke. I'm like, yeah, well, it is a joke, and it did happen to me, so I'm not lying. And he's like, well, this is my partner. His name's Bob. Bob, nice to meet you. What is your name? My name's Rob.
Whoa.
Rob and Bob.
Rob and Bob. And that's weird, man. What the hell? You can't write this shit.
You can't, dude. Rob and Bob. And Rob came with the drinks. He's like, hi, Freddie. And then he was nice. He was a sweetheart. He's like, I thought you were really funny. And then you could tell he was the cunt in the relationship. Like, he was just being he was like the wife or something. Like, fuck you. Right. I don't like that. Like, yeah, I don't know.
That's fucking hilarious, man. So
Rob and Bob.
You've really had, your experiences have really run the gamut when it comes to to comedy.
Yeah, I mean, there's just crazy shit I see with other people, but yeah, it is. People get offended. They're gonna get offended no matter what. The important thing is, it comes like Patrice O'Neill said it from the best way. And you can watch this over and over on YouTube when they're interviewing. Comedy comes from a good place.
Yeah.
It comes from a good place. There's a difference between, let's say, if you're hitting the racial, like if you're doing racy jokes about race, there's a difference between being racial and racist.
Absolutely, man.
So
That's the thing. You can talk about race without it being quote unquote racist, and I think it's the same with any topic. That's a good point, man.
yeah.
Absolutely. So, another question for you here.
Uh-huh.
What's your advice for comedians who are just starting off? Cheers. To comedians who are just starting off, who are trying to build their fan base.
Do stand up online.
Okay. Well, hold on. I was gonna be like, you almost got me there for a sec.
Yeah, man.
Make sure there's nobody there.
Get a Zoom account. No, somebody is starting off. I think the best thing to do is don't even worry about a fan base. That will come later. I think the most important thing is just become a savage on stage. One of the mistakes I did was just focus on the whole fan base early in the beginning. That's why my social media has high numbers, but it ain't shit, because they're not the people that are following me. Some of them think either I'm the backup singer from Selena, because his name is Freddy Correa also.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. A lot of people hit me up. They're like, "Are you the backup singer for?" And I say, "Yes, I am."
I definitely am. Come see me. I'm doing a show.
Yeah, I do. I promote him. When you're in Vegas, the show's on me. So I there's too much time wasted sometimes on social media and trying to build a fan base. I think it's good to be creative and make videos. I think people make skits. I mean, that's fucking amazing what they're doing. People are out there podcasting. People that just do rants. I love it.
Yeah.
Do what you're gonna do, but focus. If you want to be a stand-up comic, become a savage on stage. I envy. There's so many people I have started after me that have fucking passed me, bro. Like, like they'll be out there featuring or headlining shows, and it's like, fuck, they started 2 years after me,
Right.
So that's the thing. It's like I have regrets. I regret not starting earlier in my life. I started at the age of 28. And I'm gonna be 38 this year, so it's gonna be 10 years in August when I turn 38 in August. And I wish I would have started earlier. One of the things that have prevented me from doing so much stage time, though. So this is it's like that balance scale. You have too much of this, you're gonna have less.
Yeah.
Too much
For some
of this,
reason, the word is escaping me, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So like I had now some of those friends that have passed me, and I say it with love, because not jealousy. I get mad at myself for not being where they are. I could be that guy with the chip on my shoulder. Why are they getting booked? No, it's because they fucking worked it out. They deserve to be out there doing what they're doing, So a lot of it also has to do because they have gone kind of full time into it or have a part time. I happen to have a full time job, so it makes it with overtime, a lot of overtime.
Yeah.
So it makes it hard for me. But here's where I'm blessed. I don't have kids, so that helps me. More stage time. So that's what. Back to your question, what do I recommend someone that's starting out?
Not having kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what I recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. You too, bro? You don't want to have kids?
Hell no.
Fuck yeah.
Not in this lifestyle, my man.
Thank you, bro. I'm going to finish the rest of my shot for that. Cheers.
Definitely, dude. I don't mean to interrupt the thought process, but I had to add that.
Yeah. Oh no, that's fucking no, that's bro, whatever's hindering you that you could manage to get out of your life when stand up comes back and all that, figure it out where you could get on stage as much as you can, because I see also talented people. I see talented, some talent, mostly, well, there's less girls in comedy, but I've seen some very talented girls that are super funny, dude. And as soon as they start dating, it's like the guy starts getting jealous. But it happens the other way around too.
Mm.
So it's like as soon as they're in a relationship, that shit hinders you. And then I see some comics that they have a shout out to my friend Tyler Jolly. He's engaged and he's been killing it still. So like
Nice.
so it's like that's another thing. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky that my wife is very supportive.
Yeah. And she's in a similar field, right? Because she does like online content as well.
Exactly. And she has her full-time job. So like we've talked about it before. Like when are you gonna take that leap, that jump, and all that? It's like you're gonna know when it's time to go full-time into it. The important thing is that you're ready. You're
Yeah.
ready to quit the day job and all that. And I always use Bill Burr as one of my favorite examples because he is one of the kings of comedy and
Absolutely.
living legend. And
He does so many things.
yeah, he does so many things, and he's super talented, super original. And when I use him as an example is in this aspect. He had a daytime job for the first 10 years in construction, different jobs while he
Really?
did comedy. Yeah. And he's talked about it on his podcast before. So like that really, it's comfort to me, I'm like, damn,
Hell yeah.
yeah,
It's actually doable. Yeah, I actually didn't even know that. That's insane. Well,
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
shout out to Bill Burr for that. The last structured question I really had for you was if you could do a comedy show with anybody in the world, and this could be dead or alive, and any venue in the world, where would it be? And I'll give you a second to think about it.
With who and where?
Yeah, and it could be any comic, dead or alive, in any venue. It would be you. You could be headlining. The person could be headlining,
That's great.
and it could be more than one comic if you can't narrow it
Yeah,
down to one.
dude, I would just be happy to do a guest spot with Greg Giraldo.
Greg Giraldo, rest in
Yeah,
peace.
yeah, rest in peace, Greg Giraldo, because I have a multitude of people that have inspired me. But when I was gonna start comedy, I was watching Last Comic Standing. Felipe Esparza really inspired me to get up and do comedy. People had been telling me because my outlet at the time, I was making stupid funny YouTube videos, little skits, and I had a bunch of Facebook friends, and people will watch it and be like, "Hey, you should be a comedian. You should do stand up." And I am watching Felipe Esparza destroy, and I'm like, "He's Latino. I'm Latino."
Hmm.
Uh, you know. And I told Scott Warren, shout out to Scott Warren. I said,
Shout out Scott.
"Yeah, I love Scott Warren. Funny comic, great podcast. Not podcast, right?
Yeah, not it's a not cast, so it's not a
It's the not
podcast.
cast. Yeah, it's a not cast." But I told him, I'm like, isn't that racist? Like for me to say, oh, a Latino's doing stand up, I could do stand up. You never hear a white guy say, man, a white guy's doing stand up, I could do. It's so
No, I know what you mean.
it's like a double standard, bro. It's not right. But yeah, I saw Felipe and I was like, fuck yeah. And then one of the judges that season was Greg Giraldo. So here I am. Pandora was getting big. Slacker Radio is like I Slacker Radio was a version of like Pandora, so
Mm-hmm.
you could listen to comedy. So I looked up Greg Giraldo and I was listening to all his albums, dude. And I became a huge fan. And I'm like, I want to be like him. I want to be a guy that could rant and just be fucking hilarious. And then months after Last Comics Standing was over, a couple months later, all of a sudden it comes in the news that he passed away.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart. And at the time I used to be very religious. So I felt like God was telling me, don't do comedy.
Really?
So I put it away for months. And it wasn't until
Mm.
2011. 2011 was when I started doing comedy.
When you say you used to be religious, when did you stop?
Um, Around 2010. I used to be like a young adults leader, almost like not I was never labeled a young adults pastor, but I was pretty much that.
Hmm.
Like I had my own little like group of like 20 to 30 young adults. I was 28. I started when I was like 25 or something, and it was like the young adults, like the ones after high school going into college, so in their 20s up to like 30 something.
Right.
And I would study, um I would study my teaching, my weekly teaching, and prepare it. And I was also the worship leader, so I would bring the songs ready with my guitar or piano, and lead the worship. And we all sit like in a room, like in a circle. And we started off with like 5 or 7, and it started growing and growing. But
Really?
yeah,
I
but
had no clue about this.
oh yeah.
Yeah, like I had no clue.
Yeah, I was there, dude. Kumbaya, my lord.
I feel like most people may not know, but that's really cool.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Yeah, I was. I mean, before that, I mean, Lizzie and I met in church. You know, like we grew
Wow.
up in church, in the Spanish church. And then when we got married, we ended up moving out of the Spanish church and wanted to do our own thing. So we went to a beautiful English church. Uh, Beautiful people, loveful people. Like when we grew up, you always hear of people like in churches they judge and they look down upon you. It was a lot. We got a lot of that in a Spanish culture, because Spanish people are more strict. They're
Okay.
more conservative. So we grew up where you couldn't watch The Simpsons, no MTV, no
Mm.
secular music, no Michael Jackson, nothing that had to do if it wasn't worship music, you know. So when we got married, we're like, we're gonna do our own thing. We went to an English church, and it was more modern, like Christian rock, Christian rap, you know.
Right. At least you got
POD.
something.
Yeah. You remember POD? You ever heard of POD?
I didn't hear them, no.
POD is a badass Christian rock. Like they're a rock band that happens to be Christian. So I can't call them a Christian band.
Right.
They have some badass fucking music, dude. POD, Payable on Death is what it stands for. They have good fucking music. Like they're respected. Like you go to a POD concert, even though they're Christian, people in the audience are smoking weed. like, you know, like, but anyway, back to the thing. When we started going to the English church,
Mm-hmm.
it was a really cool experience. And I was always in love with learning the Bible. I was trying to learn Hebrew when I was a teenager, so I know very little Hebrew because I forgot a lot of it. Um, so I was a student of the Bible.
Wow.
So as a student, it's kind of like when you become a fan of something, you want to be that. Kind of like people like listening to comedy, they want to try comedy. So I started teaching, and I felt like I could teach, and it was great, dude. It was a cool run. It was a good gig. You know, I look
Nice.
at it as a gig now.
Hey, fair enough, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you sort of left because of you felt it was a pretty judgmental culture.
I left. No, not the church where I was. I still have so much love for the people there, and the church I grew up with. You know, I'm not the kind of person that left religion and hates it and
Mm-hmm.
has bitterness. I don't have that.
Okay.
However, uh, with all due respect, I think it's silly.
A lot of people feel that way.
Yeah. Like when I started questioning things and people couldn't answer things, it just like it didn't make sense. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
like, because you're every religion thinks they're the right religion, and I'm like, okay, what about the Hindus? What about the people in Nepal? They're not Hindus. They're not Buddhists. They have some religion I don't even know. They never heard of Jesus Christ. Are they gonna go to hell?
Right.
I was a Bible thumper, dude. So, for example, I'll spit a verse for you. I'm gonna flow. No,
Spit a verse. Let's go.
the book of John, chapter 14, verse 6 says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody comes to the Father but by me." That's Jesus talking.
Mm,
So he's saying, no one's gonna come to the Father unless you go through me. Well, what if
right.
somebody never heard of the name of Jesus? There's another verse, I believe in the book of Hebrews or Acts. It says, uh, "No one shall be saved but by the name of Jesus." No one ever will ever be saved. So you start thinking outside the box, and you're like, well, what if I was like someone like in the island of Senegal, you know, that island outside of India that they've never been exposed
The
to.
North Sentinelese, yeah.
Yeah. The ones that shot down that with arrows, that fucking
Yeah.
perverted preacher that was trying to come up to, and they fucked them up with arrows. What
Yeah.
if I was one of them and I die my whole life never hearing of the name of Jesus, never believing in Jesus? Am I going to burn in hell forever and ever? So you ask that to a pastor, you ask that to a Christian, somebody will tell you this is the answer. So I'm assuming they're going to tell you because this is the answer they gave me multiple times. Well, God is a God of grace and he's going to judge that person according to their works, or he's a justful God and he's going to judge it the right way. No, that's not what the Bible says. This is why I was a Bible thumper.
Right.
The Bible says no man is saved by works, but by faith through Jesus Christ. So you're saved by grace and faith, not by the works that you do.
Yeah, you're like, that's what you guys told me before.
Because see, the whole Christianity is based that Jesus paid the price on the cross for you so that you don't have to be a good person and earn your way up to heaven. So if I'm not, if I have to go through Jesus, then I'm fucked.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons that really got to me. That verse, John 14:6, really messed with my head. For a lot of people, it's a beautiful verse, but that verse messed with me in the sense that this is a game. This is just a game. Be in my club, and you're gonna be cool, and and the other clubs are bad. You got to be in my club, And then what about the gays? So you tell me all the gays are going to go to hell? You tell me it's by choice?
Right.
No?
Yeah.
So when did I choose to like girls? I don't remember choosing to like girls. I just like girls.
Right. Just like them. Just they didn't choose to like whoever they like.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's very ridiculous. Like, that's why I think it's silly. But I respect it because I feel like religion is good for a lot of people, and I think people need religion.
Yeah.
Some people have really bad addictions where they can't even function. They can't even have a job. They just do drugs, and they no, I'm good, thank you, Mom. But they just need religion to keep them away from that. Praise God for that. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing. Yeah, if it can make you a better person, then of course there's nothing against it. But I think it's when it starts making you judge other people and tell people how to live that it's probably a problem.
Yeah, it's when you start casting stones and looking at people. So to me now, that's why I love Uncle Joey's podcast. And the name, it's funny. The name of the podcast is The Church of What's Happening Now.
Church.
Yeah, exactly. There's Uncle Joey in the back right there in
My
your
man.
wall. It's like, it's a family. It's a church. To me, I never. It's like I went from one church to another. You know what I mean? Comedy. And like this union we have through comedy, through podcasts, and it's still something beautiful because look, I'm not an atheist, and am I an agnostic? I don't know. Do I need a label? I don't know what's out there, right?
You don't need a label. I tell people I'm not even agnostic. I'm not nothing.
Yeah, I'm not nothing. I'm just I don't need.
I'm a guy.
I'm a guy. Yeah, exactly. I'm just a person. And I know people say, well, how do you know what's good and evil without the Bible? Well, I know I shouldn't punch someone in the face because it makes them feel bad. And it's going to make me feel bad.
Thou shalt not kill is common sense, not just religion.
Exactly. So if there's something that I don't want to be a stumbling rock, that's a Christianese. You know what Christianese is?
No, what's that?
Christianese is a language that you use when you talk in Christian terms.
Okay.
I don't want to make you stumble, brother. I don't want to be a stumbling block.
Right.
When you use, that's Christianese. It's like when you use jargon, like if you're a cable guy and you use certain terms, or you're a plumber and you use certain terms of your trade, that's Christianese. So I don't want to be a stumbling block to people, but if you want to see a really good documentary that's going to fuck up your faith, there's a lot of them, but this is not what fucked up my faith. It just kind of helped me feel, I'm not the only one. Look up a documentary of a guy. He never even made money off of it. It's called the God That Wasn't There. You could watch it on YouTube.
I've heard of that.
Great documentary.
Nice.
You learn that there was so many other stories of Jesus before Jesus, Horus. There's all these different stories and myths of people that came. They were half God, half human, and they came. They were born of a virgin, and then they came and were sacrificed for the people. There's a bunch of flood stories, all over the world of the great flood, all over
Noah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Jesus stories, but they use different names. It's a great documentary. You should check it out.
That's really interesting, man. Well, I think I'll probably check that out for sure.
Yeah,
well, that's a lot of stuff that we didn't know about you, so I think that people will definitely be interested, man. Like, this is badass. Like, we got deep with Freddy Correa tonight.
Yeah, we did.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, this has been so much fucking fun, dude. I thank you for joining me on here. What can you tell us about where we can find you, and of course, what's coming up on the Thanks for the Invite podcast, a huge hit?
Yeah, thank you, man. I got the podcast. Thanks for the Invite podcast. You can find it anywhere you find podcasts, and go to freddycorrea.com. That's my website where you can find all my social media, unless you want to type in Fred Ricker, FredReker. But yeah, you just find me on Facebook, Instagram, social media, Twitter, Pornhub, anything you want. Like, I was telling you today, did you upload your podcast on Pornhub?
It's on Pornhub. I mean, yeah, it's up there,
dude. That's such a that's such a great idea. Like, any outlet you could put your podcast, put it up there, dude. I'm gonna do that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, hey, I figured like there's interviews up there, so I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly, dude. I sent a video to Ian, my co-host, and Sammy, Ian Burford. I sent him a video, and they're like, "What is this?" It's a link from Pornhub, dude. It was a guy teaching. It was an old guy, like, it looked like fucking Joe Biden, dude. Just eating. He had half of a watermelon, and he was teaching people how to eat a watermelon on Pornhub. And I sat there and watched it for 13 minutes just to see what happened. Bro,
that's funny though, because it is a platform just like any other.
Yeah, it's a platform. Bro, he was teaching people how to do these tunnels and how to connect the other side to the other tunnel. And I'm like, what the fuck? You could tell it was something that was uploaded to YouTube and then they re-uploaded it to Pornhub. It was funny. But yeah, man, also an invitation for people. Anybody that comes to Vegas, you want to come see a show, whether I'm performing that night or not, I could get you some tickets, man, on me, complimentary. I would love for you to go to a show and treat you. I would like to treat you. So Vegas is different. You go to other cities, they want you to buy tickets. And I know right now we're going to need people buying tickets for sure. We need to recover from all this bullshit going on. But Vegas, you've always hear Vegas is the place where they take care of you. Back in the mobster days, people take care of you. You're going to get taken care of in Vegas. So that's always been my mentality. If I have a way to invite you to, if I have a homie that is a promoter at a club, I'm going to hook you up. That's how Vegas is. We like hooking people up. So hit me up.
That's badass, man. Hit him up. Thanks for the Invite podcast. Of course, I encourage everybody to check it out. My man, Freddy, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Hey, man, thank you. And one last thing. To me, it's an honor because all the guests that you've had, you just had Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, man.
And I'm going to be a couple episodes afterwards. It's an honor, bro. Thank you.
It's an honor for me, man. Thank you so much. And there you have it. My exclusive interview with the incredible Freddy Correa. Thank you to Freddy for being on the show once again. It's always great to connect with him. If you enjoyed what you saw here on today's podcast, first and foremost, please make sure to subscribe to our guest. The link to everywhere you can follow him and find his podcast is in the description below. But also make sure to subscribe to the Cassius Morris Show. There's content almost every single day that's coming out. I'm working my ass off on this stuff, and I really hope you guys are enjoying it. Click that subscribe button. I'm on facebook.com/Cassius.Morris, Twitter @CassiusMorris, Instagram @CassiusMorris_. Make sure to follow me. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, this is Cassius Morris saying, rock on.